very good afternoon to one and all present here. First of all, thank you so much for joining on a short notice, and I wholeheartedly welcome you all to this talk. We are going to go ahead with the multiple areas which students need to work upon as freshers to crack their dream jobs and the jobs that will help them in making their daily basis needs fulfill. So I would like you all to start with your introductions, and we can start with Ankit sir.
Sure. Thank you so much, Shikha ma'am. Thanks for inviting me to this wonderful meeting. We are going to actually explore a lot of things. So, if I talk about myself, academically, I'm a mechanical engineer. I completed my BTech and MTech in mechanical engineering, production engineering, respectively. But gradually, after completing my academic journey, I realized that my interest lied in communication skills and training in particular. So, I started taking some casual classes, and then in full swing, I launched myself into the training and development, and it's been almost around 10, or you can say 10.5 years, that I have been into this journey of training and development, especially for the graduates and the postgraduate students. In Chandigarh University itself, I was taking care of the post-graduation, especially the MTech students. And it has been a very fascinating journey. And I would really like to say one thing, that I'm into this domain specifically because I love to be part of this domain. I have no degree or no education supporting my this career, but I have been into this career just because of my passion, and I'm privileged to be part of this team again. Thank you.
And you're nailing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Alaska, ma'am, please.
So good afternoon once again, everyone. I'm Alaska. If I talk about academically, I'm a postgraduate MBA, 2011 pass out. And right after MBA, as everybody wants to get into the corporate sector, so I started my journey with corporate sector, and I was into hardcore sales and marketing job. So it was a very good experience for me because I explored a lot of things which were very new to me, and I was kind of scared of it as well. And then I would say, fortunately, I got married, and right after that, sales and marketing job has no combination. I believe in my family life has no combination with a married person. So I was looking for something to be there in the evenings, be at home in the evenings. So again, fortunately, I got a chance to work with CU, where I actually started my journey as a soft skills trainer. It was somewhere in 2017. So since then, I am working as a soft skills trainer. So almost a club of around 13 years, I'm into a working profession, and uh, this set of being a corporate trainer and a soft skills trainer is a very beautiful thing, because whatever I have experienced being a corporate person is something what I am teaching and grilling the students on. So this is how I'm a soft skills trainer.
And I think you are also acing it with grace every time I see you on the LinkedIn. So yeah, it's quite evident. Let's move ahead to Tanushri, ma'am.
So, first of all, thank you, Shika, for inviting me to have this kind of conversation with such intellect people, because it really feels great when you connect people who share the same domain and the same thought process which is required in our field to train students. So, in a very brief way, I'll just talk about my background. I have completed my master's in English literature. Although my initial aim was to become an assistant professor in any college, but my dream college was Delhi University only, of course. And I cracked my net also, not once but thrice. Somehow, I started my journey as an assistant professor in a very reputed college of Lucknow IT College, which was also my alma mater. And therein I got to teach proper English literature. So soft skills was nowhere in my picture. But while teaching the subjects to the students, like I was basically taking care of American literature, Australian literature, African literature, which was quite fascinating. I came across the world of language. So I came across that how this world of language, how this language English became so famous and prominent in the fourth world nations, and how the literature got developed over there. The countries which had no history of literature, just like if we talk about Britain. So that's when I got fascinated with the world of language, and circumstances took me to my hometown, wherein I had to take care of my mother, and I joined a university there, which had the Department of Communication Skills. So since then, I came across this whole world of communication, soft skills, and training students, this engineering students, MBA students. And since then, I thought that my interest could be more into this also, and I could use my art of literature to train students, because when it comes to English, but it is a glamorous subject. It has its own glamour, which none of the subject can have it in that way, because English is more like a subject and language. So that's how I came across, and that's when I thought of pursuing my entire career into this. I joined Chandigarh University because I wanted to become a core soft skills trainer, and therein I worked for almost 1 year, 3 months, and I gained a lot of knowledge over there. I also became master subject coordinator over there. So we had a team of 10 to 15 trainers under us who we were supposed to train. So that was again a work which was based on research. There only I met Shikha ma'am also. Then again, I also got married and shifted with my husband in Noida. I joined Asian Education Group, where I'm currently taking care of, as the convener of training and development. We have three colleges under us, PGDM, law, and BBA BCom courses. So we are taking care of all the three, and we have this PDCC, personality development and corporate communication, in all the semesters. Along with it, I also take care of the magazine and newsletters over there. Out of my interest in comparing and anchoring, I also host some events and also host some celebrity and guests. Like in the previous 2 months back, I hosted Ranvijay Singh. So I had this media kind of interview like him. So this is just out of interest. But I believe that soft skills only has given me this edge to actually work upon all these skills of mine. And I am glad that although I switched my field, it was entirely different, but somehow I feel that I'm using the love of literature to be put into my language as well, and to train my students in that way. So that's all about me, Ashika ma'am. And
All
looking
right.
forward to this conversation as well.
And her work was spot on in the university as well. I just wanted to add that. Okay. So Anjali ma'am.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So, my experience is more into corporate trainings. Like, I can see all of you are more into training students. Yeah, to give a brief, I have completed my master's into marketing and HR. So, right after that, I got associated with one of the edtech startup. So, it is Next Wave Disruptive Technologies. So after that, like I left that last December, and my last position was AVP in learning and development. So there I was, responsible for all the learning and development activities for all the employees, for the new people also, training them, sending them to floor, all these things. Especially sales training was my core. So I was involved in designing end-to-end process, what to teach, how to teach, when to tell what, because we can't, for freshers, I can't tell them everything on day one. They'll get scared and they'll be like, okay, this is hard, or this is difficult. Yeah. So now, so I left that because of I shifted to Chandigarh. I cannot go to Hyderabad now. So now I'm associated with one of the company, Vani. So what happens is they take up clients. So I have two clients as of now, Accenture and Lupin. So we train those people. Yeah, mostly into communication only. So because most of them are the people who are the ones who will get promoted. So they want to, improve their communications, that they can manage the team well, they can communicate well with their clients. So all these things. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And I must say
Yes.
you're nailing it as well, because I heard a lot about your expertise as well. Okay, so
Yes.
at last, let me introduce myself quickly. So I am Shikha, and I have a career of almost 10 years in soft skills. I worked with Chandigarh University, and after that, I worked with Maharishi Markandeeshwar deemed to be University as a quality manager for approximately 6 months. Then I also got married. My education has no connection with English or soft skills. My education was entirely a different thing. I did it in geopolitics and feminism, so I was more of a political thought kind of person. But then soft skills is the only field where I can utilize that knowledge today and can help students in actually expressing their ideas more openly, because I'm more comfortable with the difficult situations, which are quite uncommon in the society. And talking about my experience right now, so after completing my CELTA certification with Cambridge University, I guess I got a broader perspective of language, because now I'm training people not only inside the country but outside the country as well. And I am also into corporate trainings these days. So I'm handling people from Volkswagen, Rolls-Royce, and I'm training them as a second language trainer. And it is really a wonderful journey. So yeah, that's how I came into this journey. But my love for soft skills is always, it's always attracting me. So I thought, let's do it. And let's come up for a call. Let's help the new talent to learn something from our expertise, which we learned by, spending 10 years in our fields. Let them get the gist of it and understand it in a better way. So let's start the discussion and let's help them, right? Okay. First question that we are going to talk about, which many students have, is what are the key skills, key soft skills that a fresher should develop to crack any interview?
Let me just begin with a little bit of background. Try to see all those students, like lakhs of students who are actually rolling out every single year. Lakhs of students, they all have only one common thing: one degree certification, having same subjects, Python, Java, like full stack, and all those sort of things. All average similar percentages, maybe 80, 90, 70, 75, something like that. When a recruiter is actually looking at those degree certificates and all the resumes, I believe that they are actually looking at the same picture every single time, if we talk about the technical aspect. So what I tell my students is that whenever you are producing your degree, whenever you are actually completing your education, you are only having an admit card with you. Your degree is just like an admit card. It gives you an entry into the institution or a company. But as soon as you enter over there, your skills are properly into the picture. So if you are not developing any particular skill while taking your education in any academic in any sort of like academic institution or somewhat like that, believe me, your degree, your marks sheet, your certification is not going to help you out in getting the job. So the core skills which I talk about, I'm an ardent supporter of two things. One is particularly a skill which is called communication skill, and second is not more a skill, rather I should say it's more like a character, or you can say personality trait, which is called confidence, and both of them can be learned. Talking about communication in particular, I would really like to tell that there is a huge confusion among the students that good English language or ability to speak good English is probably the communication skills. I have seen thousands of students who are really very, very good English speakers, but if I talk about communication, they are not able to communicate their ideas effectively. So communication, first we need to make it very clear that communication is entirely different from the language. Language is just a carrier of your thoughts. It can actually help you out in conveying your ideas, but how effectively you are conveying those ideas, that basically that process is the communication. And second is the confidence, which I believe is the most important part. And I draw this theory which is called competence confidence theory. Now people ask that how can I be confident. I always try to be very clear about that until and unless you have a competence in a particular domain, you will never be able to feel confident. So if you want to feel confident, let's say in communication, then you will have to participate in more number of activities so that you can expose yourself more. You can speak. People say that, okay, I want to speak English, I want to improve my communication. And ma'am has told me or sir has told me that I should read newspaper. Let us be very clear. If you are reading, you will learn reading. If you are writing, you will learn writing. If you are learning vocabulary, you will improve your vocabulary. But if you really want to speak effectively, you need to speak as much as possible. You need to participate in more number of activities as much as possible. So communication and confidence, according to me, these are the two most important skills, or rather I should say soft skills, which every single individual should have if he really wants to become successful.
Okay,
Shall I add?
please.
Please, ma'am.
Okay. So I have taken a lot of interviews. Like it was, I think, more than 2000 interviews when you are in L&D. So one thing I feel is, see, nobody expect a fresher to know it all. Of course, when we are also taking an interview, if I'm asking 10 questions, I also know he or she won't know answer for 7, right? So one thing, definitely one skill is communication, right? I've seen a lot of people who will try to, uh, get an accent, okay, or they'll try to use a different vocabulary just to ensure that, okay, maybe the interviewer will get impressed or something like that. but the core remains same. You talk in Hindi, English, Punjabi, whatever, but whatever you're trying to explain, I should be able to understand, right? So there, I think a lot of things come. So they forget to build the context also. They'll start from result. They'll not tell me about the situation. They'll start from result. So I don't have any context, right? So one thing is building your communication strong. For that, I agree with Ankit sir that you have to practice a lot. If you don't practice, you won't get results. Second thing I feel is coachability is one thing which I see a lot, because I know that fresher is not that skilled, right? But if he has that coachability skill or flexibility skill, I can spend some time on him or her and I can get what I want. So what I've seen is they are not very open. So I feel for fresher, if you show interviewer that I am open for learning, I am coachable, right? So also when you're explaining, when you're coachable, you can give some situation. So like this happened and then I adjusted like that. So at least I'll get a context. Okay, fine. I can consider this person.
Okay, just one thing I want to add is, so this is where I guess Ankit, so your point and Anjali ma'am, your point is on the top notch, because students feel that okay, I have done my degree, I am a BTech holder, so I am not going to learn anymore. Now I'm just going to earn. So they feel learning is gone, earning is here now. Now that is where the problem starts. Right?
And I also would like to add here, the students, whenever they are in, let's say, in final years, they have this attitude that as soon as I'm over this final year, my education is over and I'll be the professional. Now, understanding this concept, as Anjali has rightly put it, that learning skills or coachability, which can be said in another word, is something which is incredibly important. Recently, Udemy has actually launched its report about the soft skills, and they used a very important word which is called the power skills to the soft skills. Why power skills? Because they keep on empowering you only and only when you are actually ready to inculcate them or learn them and apply them into your, you can say, day-to-day operations or day-to-day functions. So learnability is something which is incredibly important, which should be the most important or the core trait of any individual if he really wants to become successful in his professional life.
Right.
Absolutely.
Alaska ma'am, please.
See here, if I talk about my experience and what is the importance of soft skills in a student's life, I believe that I agree to whatever you have said, both Anjali ma'am and Ankit sir. But I believe what students are lacking is here to be the authenticity, to be authentic, to be genuine, to be the real ones. I'll be explaining it in a very simple way, like the simplest way. Students will come to me and ask, ma'am, can you please answer a few questions regarding the interview? And the very first question is, ma'am, how to introduce yourself? I really tell them, see, telling about you, like nobody can tell you better than you about you. So this is my pet line over there. And it is a disheartening statement when we have to tell students how to introduce yourself. They can come up with a pattern, ki ma'am, this is what I am doing. So can you please correct it grammatically, or you can let me know what are the errors, or what should I add, what should I delete. But in the very first go, they will ask me, ma'am, what are my strengths? Why should they hire you? Like the basic 10 questions, the FAQs, I would say, for any interview. The students are coming and they're asking, ma'am, can you please frame up the answers for this? So we need to tell them on the very first go that be genuine, be authentic, and be what you are. People really want the real you, not the ones. And they will interview each and every student. Acha, okay, fine, you have gone for the interview. What were the questions and what were the answers as well? So asking the questions is pretty good. Fine, you really want to know what is the pattern or how they are asking, or even what is the mood of the interviewer. But how can you even ask about what was your answer? And people are even, I'm so disturbed while knowing that students even ask, ma'am, what are the hobbies? Like when they ask about the hobbies, so what should we answer? So this is my experience, that being genuine and being authentic and being what you are is very important for any student or any professional as well, because we are trying to imitate others. So this is my take on this, and which I'm actually trying to tell students.
Well, I totally agree with what Alaska ma'am has said, because this is the same problem we come across as students, that they are so spoon-fed by the teachers or the academicians or the faculty members, that somehow they feel that even somebody is training them. So the moment they train them, the second moment will be that they will get a job. Like what Ankit sir said, that they don't want to learn something. And again, relating it to what Shikha has said, that They don't want to learn, they just want to earn. So that is the mentality which has been somehow injected into them. I will not say that the entire education system is to be blamed for these things, but when we talk about, like NEP also talks about skill sets, NEP 2020, right? It talks about skill sets, it talks about developing those skills. We taught them the story of simple story of a crow in their childhood. We also have studied that how the crow use all the pebbles to actually get over his thirst of water, right? So why we were taught those stories, or what is the essence of those stories? So that we wanted our, whenever our school teacher used to ask that you have to narrate the complete story, it was so that we can remember the things and then we can narrate it in our own words, right? This is what I feel, that the students need to be taught, that when they are being asked about their introduction, they should have some context in their mind. So from where this context will come? Only if they are being given chance to explore themselves, instead of being teaching them what are listening skills, or what is discipline, what is punctuality, they should be asked to share their own examples of where they have shown the active listening skills, or where they have shown the discipline, or where they have shown the teamwork or collaboration. I think man said that it is not about communicating with English in English only. If even the student is confident in communicating in his own native language, for example, the students do get placed if they are being asked to speak in, let's say, Bhojpuri language. Even if that person is confident and is able to share his context in that language also, that shows that he has that willingness to communicate and learn also. So this is what I feel, because a lot of times students do not get selected because of their proper English. Being from an English background, having a background with English literature, I do not rely on the fact anymore that only with effective and proper grammar you will be able to crack the interviews. That used to be my mindset in the beginning, but nowadays when we come across students, especially with this Gen Z, it is very, very, very important to actually understand their mindset. That they are coming with the mindset, I'm spending 7-8 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees on a course, and I need to get a job right after 2 years of my PGDM program. It is not practically possible unless you have not explored yourself. So I believe, summing up all, communication, context, then coming out of that comfort zone, it is very, very important that they should have the mindset of actually that the real phase has just begun. Learning was something, okay, their parents afforded it, they were just asked to go to the school, but now the real challenge begins, how they will be able to prove themselves, because now the parents won't be there, the mentors won't be there. To be very honest, even in corporates, they will not find everyone who will be supporting them. People can help you, but then you have to find your way out of your skill sets, and that I believe needs to be taught to them.
It was
Just a
really.
small addition to all
Mhm.
what we are saying. They want to earn, but they forget that for that they have to learn, and then only they learn. And to learn anything, somehow I believe they have to relearn a lot of things. They have to relearn because there are certain set of principles which they have made that this is how it works, and this is how I will be doing. So this earning process is always about learn and relearn and unlearn as well. I would even add to this part that unlearn is also something which they should be learning. So this is my take on the learn part and the earn part here.
So let's move to the second important question that so many students have. What to learn from a bad interview?
Okay, so shall I go first?
Please.
All right. So, like in the previous conversation, we discussed about, ma'am, I think gave that we should learn and then unlearn and then relearn, because there are certain things which we can learn from bad interviews. First and foremost thing is, a student should have this mindset in his thought process that not all companies are made for him, and not he is made for all the companies. Not all job profiles will suit him, and also he will be not a suitable person for all job profiles. So he should not keep the expectation that fine, 3 to 4 companies, or for that purpose 6 to 7 companies came for the placement of thing, and I couldn't make it or I couldn't qualify. I believe that as mentors, we should first eradicate this word rejection from a student's mindset, because rejection should not be applied to human beings. Human beings cannot be rejected. You can again apply, you can again try. My father always taught me, again try. So those 2 words always remain with me, and to my students I never taught the word rejected. So they should be taught that maybe he has prepared his best, he understood the job description, he understood the roles, key role responsibility and everything, but probably his overall personality and the thought process which the recruiter has in his or her mind is not apt or suiting for him. So that is the first thing he should learn, that maybe he should not take it negative, but maybe he should get an idea that I think that this job was not for me, or maybe I can apply my skills to different job roles, or maybe I am made for different job purpose or like that. So this is my take on this, and I'm looking forward to listen to your others' point of view as well.
Okay, so I would like to add something to it. No matter how prepared or unprepared a student or a person is, whenever he's going through his interview process, most of the time it happens that he actually gets an idea. Okay, that this was the moment when I was not feeling much confident, or probably this was the question which I was not feeling very comfortable with. So I believe that interview, one thing which should be very clear in the minds of students is that every single time you are appearing for the interview, you need to prepare for it. You cannot go unprepared, because this is something important. You need to understand that when you are going unprepared for a job interview, you are showing that you are not interested, or probably you are not respecting the job opportunity. And that is the most, I think that's the worst thing for an interviewer to understand or to grasp from an interviewee, that the person is not interested or somewhat not serious about it. So whenever you get some sort of that the sensation that I'm not feeling comfortable with that answer, I believe that you should have a wake up call that this is the question where I should focus on. Moreover, I would also like to relate it to the authenticity, which Alaska ma'am said that authenticity is something which is incredibly important. If you are being authentic, I believe that you are going to prepare less for it, because you don't need to prepare for it. Whenever you are telling about yourself genuinely, you don't need to prepare for it. So I believe that the person should try to be very observant. Any individual should be very observant about what type of questions are being asked. Am I feeling comfortable with that particular question or not? If I'm not feeling comfortable, I should take, or I should prepare that question really well, because most of the times, talk about, or on average there are 10 to 15 questions which keeps on repeating every single interview. Or moreover, there will be some interviews, there will be some questions from your resume, so you need to be prepared for that. So it should be about observation. It should be about observing your interview very carefully, so that you can get an idea what type of questions are being asked, and just prepare them religiously with dedication. That's my take on that.
I agree. May I?
Please.
Yeah.
So, if I talk about my experience throughout this training process, so we all are aware that each student will be sitting in any placement drive, right, from their sixth semester, I believe, for the BTech students. And if I talk about post graduation PG courses, so they are in their third semester. So, to start this process, I want to quote one thing here, that the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in battlefield. This is a very renowned one, and I keep on repeating this every time. Even I have a post on LinkedIn with this quotation as well. So every time, as we all are from training background, we are giving them imitate drives. A lot of mock interviews are being scheduled. So this is something that being starting from the scratches in the first year, like first and second semester, they really don't understand the importance of soft skills. And the moment they get into the third semester, fourth semester, they're swamped up with a lot of assignments, projects, but they start understanding the importance. And the time when their real interviews start, they understand, oh my god, this was the most important thing, because each and everyone will be preparing for their projects and everything. If maybe the second thing, if I talk about here, is if they are rejecting in their technical rounds, fine, they know their capacity, they know their caliber. In the written test, definitely they have to work on their hard skills, but soft skills is something which I believe they should be understanding the importance since the start, the very first thing, because personality cannot be changed in a day. You cannot build confidence overnight, and there are no capsules available on any of the chemists. So to make them understand what is rejection, see, it is a very cruel world, I would say, that we learn from rejections more than we learn from our success, or the things which we are getting. So this is my take on this, that rejection is something which we should accept, but you should start working on it, right? We should be teaching what we are preaching, like it should match our actions as well. So students need to be there in the mock drives, mock interviews. They should have mentors, and they should be attending each and every class. So this is what I believe students should understand.
One thing I would particularly like to add here is, which Alaska ma'am quite really mentioned. The thing is, like, most of the time it happens whenever there's a drive going to happen, or a company is actually visiting the campus. Students will flock around the cabin. They'll keep on asking, sir, tomorrow is the interview, a day after tomorrow is the interview, could you please help us understand what type of questions can be asked. No, we need to understand, as Alaska ma'am mentioned very clearly, that it is I'm sorry, it's not a process which you can learn in a day or two or in a month. You cannot take the medicine of entire week in one day and get cured, right? It's just like that process. You will have to take bit by bit. You will have to inculcate it. You will have to put it into operation into every single day. So don't expect, students should not expect that just before 2 to 3 days of that particular interview you would be able to get the hang of entire process. It's not going to happen. We need to be very careful since the very beginning.
Okay, Anjali ma'am, you want to add something?
Yeah. So my take on what to learn from a bad interview, I generally tell to let's say there would be colleagues who are looking to shift, right? So they'll also talk to you as I am into L&D. So I generally tell them, first of all, it's a mindset game. You don't think it's bad interview. Because generally what I'll think, if I think something is bad, I won't consider interrogating it, acha, what I did wrong or something, because it is bad for me. So I'll be like, okay, leave it. I'll move for something else. Right? So one thing is, either you'll get selected or you'll learn something. There are only two things. Right? So even if you're not selected, you will learn something, and you will learn now what not to do, at least. Right? So that is very crisp thing. Let's say if you're not selected, sit one day. See, when you come out of the room, you would be into an emotional state, right? Of course. So don't interrogate or introspect at that time. Give yourself some time. After a day or two, think what went wrong. Because the student is the only one in that room, only interviewer and student is there. So only student knows what he or she has said, right? So they themselves can sit, write down the points, okay, I said this, I could have said something like that instead of this. Or maybe my body language was not right, or my voice was shaking, or something like that. If they introspect things, they will get time and they will know what to do from next time. Right. And they will know their flaws also. Okay, this I already have. Now I have to focus on this.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to add one thing here now. Not actually one, but three things. So first one is, I believe that, as Anjali ma'am already told us, that if you are giving an interview, you are the only one there. So the first thing I want to add here is, please don't play the blame game. Because generally when we hit the failure, the first thing that a human brain comes with up, it's the fault of my teacher, it's the fault of the college, it was a corruption case, I lost the interview. So
True.
stop playing the blame game. First of all, just accept something is wrong with me. Accept the fact. I think that's the first step. And second step is, as I think Alaska ma'am, Tanushree ma'am, and Ankit sir told us, that people will start just giving interviews without checking, are they really fit for the job? So that is where skill mapping is really important. So before you just see, okay, it's a 6 LPA, I'm going to apply. Oh, it's a 10 LPA, definitely apply. 15 LPA, definitely apply. Instead of that, let's see, is this a job I really want to do? Because we all are working, and let me tell you that we all should accept the fact that if we don't love our work, we can't do it. It gets more than torturous, right? So it's better to choose something that really drives us. So that's where my second point comes into picture. That when you people are going ahead with an interview, especially these youngsters, don't go for the LPA you are getting, go for the learning you're getting.
Even
Right,
the
because
FOMO part is also very important here. People start applying for the jobs because they are not getting in, their classmates are being selected, or they have even started working. So this is also very important, that right thing will approach you at the right time. Don't be in rush that everybody is there in that race, so I have to be there. Right? People are even joining. See, MBA is an expensive course, as I'm teaching MBA as well, and students spending 4 to 5 lakhs or more than that just on MBA, and they are even ready to join any company on 3 lakhs. So it's really disheartening, right? So don't be in rush. Get your skills, map it to the right company, and then prepare for it, and then go for the interview. They are even not aware of JDs. They don't know how to read the JD. They will have one resume for each and every company. For hundreds of companies, they'll apply with one resume. So
Yeah.
this is also something, a very concerning part here.
Absolutely. And the last thing I want to say is, as you people are raising your concerns that people come back when the placement drive is scheduled, now your cabin is full of people. They want to know all the answers to all the questions. So generally, the only one answer that I have given to people in past is, you are going for the interview. The only thing that can help you is knowledge, because with knowledge comes the confidence. So I just take them back to their 12th standard when they used to raise their hands. You used to raise your hand higher when you know the answer. So if you know the answer of the questions they're going to ask, therefore you know the company and yourself, you're prepared. Then it's just the game of the words that you use, and that is not that much important. As already Anjali ma'am has told us, that words can be different, but if your context is right, you're there. So focus on the context more than those fancy vocabulary words on Chat GPT at least. Because earlier students used to come to us, now they go to Chat GPT. Now they don't understand the Chat GPT version they have, maybe 4, is available with the HRs also, right? So they know the language is a robotic language, a human language, it has emotions, or it has, that planned English. And it happens with IELTS people also. They also come back and they say, I have my speaking test tomorrow, or maybe the next week. Please prepare me with hobbies, or prepare me with cue cards. They don't understand the basic reason of conducting the test. Why so many universities are relying upon it, so that you are able to tell people what you think. Your creativity can come out of your mouth. They don't want you to just learn 10 words and come. Right. So that's what I wanted to add. Okay, so we are just heading towards the last question for today. So, how can social media help a fresher get noticed by the employers? So, here I'm focusing on LinkedIn basically.
Yes.
Okay, so should I?
Yes, yes.
Please.
All right. So I think there is a very popular term right now, which is called personal branding. People are actually talking much about it. The personal branding, if we talk about especially the professional one, as Shika ma'am mentioned, that we are talking about social media, then we are particularly talking about LinkedIn. So now there is one thing which we need to understand, which students need to understand very clearly. You might be having 1,000 qualities. You might be having different certificates. You might be having a lot of knowledge. You may be the expert of Java, that complete Java full stack or something like that. But if your LinkedIn profile or your resume, which is an offline version of a profile actually, if those documents and those social profiles are not highlighting them, if those social media profiles are not telling that how active you are in that type of like society, how actively you are participating in the activities, how actively you are participating in the hackathons, what sort of projects you are doing, until and unless you are showing it to the world, which is the modern version of networking. Earlier networking used to be just attending some events and having some conversation with the industry experts, but today the networking has actually taken a different turn. LinkedIn is the modern or sophisticated networking now. You just need to put everything online. But that should not be random. That should be in a particular order. That should be in a particular fashion. Your personal branding should be your first priority, because as you complete your graduation, you are completely new in the market. But if there are some HR leaders who you are already following, they are actually keep on posting a lot of opportunities, internship opportunities and all, and if you're applying for them, and when they visit your profile, and when they see that this person, I am actually looking for a person who is skilled in the Java front end development or something like that, and this person has already done so many projects, who do you think he's going to connect? Of course, you. So please understand this thing very clearly, that whatever quality you have, and one more thing, which I really want to tell all the students community, I mean the complete student community, you cannot be the jack of all trades. Please do not be very vague that I'm a computer science engineer. Come on, you cannot be computer science engineer. Either you can be an expert of Java, you can be expert of Python, you can be expert of like some other language, maybe machine learning. In machine learning also there may be so many technical jargons. So be very specific, narrow down your zone so that people can actually focus on you. Because whenever you have some problem in your stomach, you don't go to any general practitioner, you go to the gastrologist, and that's the way it works. So in the same way, like whenever you want to get a particular job in machine learning, please demonstrate all the skills which are related to machine learning, not the skill of teaching up to 10th class students, because that's not going to make any relevance to this particular job. So I believe that if on social media, if you are actually updating a lot of things whatsoever you are participating, your skills, something related to your skills, and if you're connecting with a lot of people, connecting, I mean to say following, so that whatever opportunities they're actually posting, you can actually cater those opportunities. So being active on LinkedIn and optimizing your profiles in a particular way, that probably can help you out, which students are not learning right now. They are very much active on Instagram, they are very much active on Facebook, but LinkedIn is something which is, the back in the priority. So it should be the first priority for the students to optimize their profile, to connect with the HR professionals and all those professionals, and most importantly, to continuously feed LinkedIn, telling about what exactly they're doing, what developments they are going through. So that can definitely help them out in being noticed and, of course, creating a credibility in the market.
Right.
That's
And
my
I just want to add here one thing. As Alaska ma'am already said, FOMO is there. In this Gen Z, FOMO is very much there. So once they start doing this thing that they are just uploading everything on LinkedIn, out of this FOMO, they will start doing something. Oh my God, I didn't upload anything in the last 1 week. So that FOMO will be a positive thing in that way. And then they will start competing also. My friend has uploaded one video. I have not done anything. Sometimes this also acts as a booster, and they develop their profile even without realizing it, right?
But
Okay.
Shikha ma'am, although I believe what you have said, FOMO is something that definitely Gen Z is having, and one more thing which they are lacking at is resilience. So what I feel is that just because somebody saw that my friend has posted a video of any event or like that, but I have not been able to go. So I just want to share a recent case, which is an example, which also helped me to understand the student's mentality. He participated in some event wherein he was asked to perform in a team. So he just performed with one team member. So he just performed with her, and they performed in the first round. They gave their presentation. They were appreciated by the judges also, but somehow they were not allowed to go to the next round. Why? Because they said that you were supposed to be a team of 4 members. Now, what happened? The student who always posts a lot about his skills, his abilities, that today I learned this from that event, that this from that event, or maybe I acquired these skills from that event, intentionally posted something on LinkedIn that today I participated in this thing and I was disqualified from this thing just because I couldn't participate with the team members of 4 people. So when we are talking about this generation, when it comes to social media, we have to be really particular about setting the mindset of what the students are actually posting, because when we are actually dealing with these kind of students, we get an opinion that fine, we ask them to repost, post, shares on LinkedIn, because we're talking about LinkedIn. But on LinkedIn also, I'm not saying that whatever the student posted was incorrect, but then the mindset with which the student thought will be read by a lot of people, and that probably will not be a good sign for somebody who is going to read his post, giving a glimpse that somehow the student got so negative, and that negativity was reflected in his or her post. That is a challenge that me or whether other trainers who are training students or building their personality are facing. So it is very important, like what Ankit sir said, that it should be aligned with the personal branding. And in order to understand the personal branding, I feel that there's something called as UVP, which is unique value proposition. So it is what sets you apart from other, and it helps you to develop your skills, experiences, and qualities, and that makes you valuable to the people who are looking at you, who are genuinely going through your profile. But as a trainer, it is also a responsibility to actually make sure that the mindset and thought process of these students should not be aligned with the negativity, because this generation, not they are just having this FOMO thing, but also their resilience power is really less. That is one such concern that we all are facing. So it is very important to make sure that social media should also be used for a good purpose. They should not be provoked, or they should not be sharing the posts related to some negative impact or like that. Again, the students ask you this question, ma'am. We are in a country where we have freedom of speech, freedom of commenting upon somebody. So how should we deal? Like this is really challenge, and I really want to understand this from you people as well, that how you will actually deal with this problem. And the student asks you that, okay, fine, ma'am, we have the freedom of speech. I can post anything. आप as a trainer
Mental
वहाँ पे stuck
conditioning.
जाओगे literally. This is like genuinely how to. This requires us to be mentally trained. So social media, when it comes, we have to be really particular in this thought. And I would genuinely like to hear your opinions on how, as a trainer, we can, actually understand the mindset of the student when we are asking them to repost something, post something. Are we giving them the freedom to post anything, or are we just asking them, yes, because you want to show your visibility, so you can post anything? Is that the case? Like, I genuinely have this question.
I would like to answer this. So I was reading about mental psychology 2 days back, and I came across this beautiful line that your brain is the most stupid organ you have in your body. You can train it to any direction you want, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. So I read it there that if you say your brain don't do it, your brain will do it. Don't think about one thing, you will definitely think about that. So the first thing I do is and I started doing it, and trust me, it works. So instead of saying your brain don't do it, tell your brain to do something else, right? So as you said that how to make sure the students are not doing it. So every time we motivate them to post something and to keep their profiles upgraded on LinkedIn, we need to add one more line. Make sure you add something you want you want your corporate future companies to see you as. You have to reinforce it, especially for the people who are joining us in the earlier semesters, like fifth semester, fourth semester. So if we reinforce this mindset among them, eventually after a semester, they will understand what to post, what not to post. And we also call it mental conditioning, and which is very much away from their real life scenarios. These days, they post everything on the name of freedom to speak inside the country. But then they forget to understand this part that when they are speaking, the history might not remember the situation, but will remember the way they said that. Their words will be remembered for a long time, which will affect their personality after 10 years from this
Yeah.
date. And then they will see and they say, how stupid I was, what I did with my profile. So I think this is very important that we need to teach them that your deeds today will reflect
Yeah.
you at that time.
Because it's everything you post on social media. If you are not deleting it, that will never be deleted. So it will always remain. So 5 years down the lane, if any recruiter gets to see what you posted, he might just get that perception of you from there as well. So that is something I believe that, social media, when we tease it, I also believe that, social media can be used impactfully. But when I come across these kind of posts of the students, I genuinely feel that what is the mindset and thought process of that student? Again, that student is not wrong. It is not the choice of wrong or right. We cannot justify. Maybe he felt it like that. But as uh, as crafters or as trainers, we need to imbibe that personality and that positivity in him or her, that this will remain the case. Is he going to do the same thing when he's in the corporate world? Okay, fine. One day your boss scolded you or asked you or scolded you in front of the entire team. So are you going to post it on LinkedIn as well? So will the mentality remain the same? Today he might not have this thought process that I'll be expelled out of college, but tomorrow he has to be taught that if you do this, your job will be at risk. Otherwise, this habit will remain the same, and it will be a problem for him in the upcoming professional life as well. So, this is where I believe that social media has to be used and taught to be used cautiously to the students, especially to the teenagers.
Yes, Anjali ma'am, please.
Yeah. So to add on, I think, when it comes to LinkedIn, they should know the purpose of why we are asking them to post on LinkedIn. It's not equivalent to Instagram. It's not equivalent to Facebook. So
Right.
what they think, okay, just like Instagram and Facebook, I have my friends there. Here I can tell my opinions to corporates, right? But we have to make them understand that it's not, you can showcase your opinions, your voices, you can raise out on Instagram or Facebook, but LinkedIn is just to give you an extra edge in the mind of corporates or the interviewers. That's it, right? Because I'll give you one example. And I've seen many people, many students, they will not have their LinkedIn profile. One company will come, they will have a mandatory section of putting your LinkedIn URL. That is the time when they'll make their profile,
Exactly.
because otherwise they can't fill the form. Right?
Hmm.
So that is one thing which they should not do. From the first year they should start. And I interviewed one person, we were looking for people in our tech team. So we asked them to share their LinkedIn profile. So my team, there was one candidate. Okay. So why we asked, we opened his profile and we saw a lot of like he has made dynamic websites and a lot of websites, AI projects also he has done. So my team told me that this guy has done so many projects. It has built a context, or I would be willing to give 10 more minutes to that person because I know that, okay, fine, he or she has done it already. In the interview, I can't ask them to make a website, right? It will take a lot of time. So I think one is telling them why to use LinkedIn, what is the purpose, and what will happen if they post, what will happen? They will get extra time to pitch themselves to the interviewer.
Right. One more thing I would like to add here. Anjali has rightly pointed out one thing very clearly. The thing is like, according to the the scenarios and the occasions, students keep on posting. If they don't have the clarity and the relevance in their mind, they keep on posting. For example, just few days back, is election time is going on, and some political affiliations are so, you can say, I'm like so ingrained in their personality. You don't have any particular like problem with that particular thing, but just try to understand this can so so deeply go against you. For example, let's assume that your interviewer is a person who is having a political affiliation towards some other party. You are a very good candidate, but again, that political affiliation is so ingrained that that person can decline you, reject you right at the moment. So please do not try to show something which is irrelevant. Relevance is the key here. You need to understand that whatever you are posting, you should have the clarity of idea. And as Anjali already mentioned, this thing that the portfolio, the projects which you have completed, you cannot show in a simple line in a resume, or rather, a person cannot ask you to create a website in a moment or in a just time of 10 minutes. But your LinkedIn profile can actually show and give the link that this is the website which I created, this is the project which I completed. So I believe that that is a dynamic thing which can actually enhance your visibility and can actually enhance your what should I say? I mean, like your likability for any particular organization.
May I?
Yes, please go ahead.
My addition to this question is, firstly, we have to be very responsible while making the connections, because we are going to see what other people are posting. So initially, don't be in rush to start posting. Definitely, you need to understand the algorithm and you have to post to engage more audience. But the quality of connections and followers will decide your mindset. As Mr. Ankit mentioned here, that resume is the offline version of your LinkedIn, like the online version. So whatever you want your offline resume should be there on your online as well. See, it's not only about LinkedIn, social media. I even refrain, being a soft skills trainer, I refrain to things in discussion with any of the student or any of the this professional territory, that is religion and political point of view. So this is something what I completely refrain, because see, being a professional, being into the professional setup, we should not discuss my personal opinion on it. We can definitely discuss something regarding religion, something regarding political issues, but giving my personal particular statement about it, something which I always try to refrain. I never even initiate any kind of GD topic on these topics as well. So we should be refraining from this. Apart from this, LinkedIn is not a place where you are entertaining your relatives or your friends. They are the people whom you are going to be associated sooner or later, right? Or they are part of your third or fourth connection. So let's be a little cautious, use our wisdom, and tell them how to use it. So answering Ms. Tanushri's question that how we inculcate this. See, recently in the last year, we were training students from third year. So, like when I joined this group, so we started soft skills training in the third semester, because then we thought that students are really mature enough to understand the importance. But somehow the departments forced us to start this practice from the first semester itself. First semester में it was really difficult to actually make the students understand कि ये free के course जिसका कोई exam भी नहीं है, जिसका कोई evaluation नहीं होगा, कोई test नहीं होगा. So how to create the importance? Then we started giving them the role plays. They thought, okay, fine, fun activities. Now what we have done is we tell them what is LinkedIn in the first semester, give them 5 topics on which they have to choose their wisdom and post. On these 5 topics, they can post anything on LinkedIn, and we tell them the frequency, that is twice a week. So almost 8 posts, in which most of the students skip and they land up only on 3 or 5 posts. And by the time they are in their real placements, when they have to paste out their URLs, they're already with a good footfall, their good posts are there, they have good connections. We even guide them what kind of people you should be entertaining. Being a part of LinkedIn from almost more than a decade, I believe you can even find the crap on LinkedIn as well. We cannot filter the quality of people. We have two-faced. Like, we are two-faced. So we don't know what kind of quality we are going to have, but telling, like, it's a kind of hand holding which we should be doing, because LinkedIn will be a kind of boring thing for students, because they are very much interested in knowing the reels which they want to follow, copy every time. And LinkedIn is very new. Completely imposing them in the sixth semester is going to be a blunder, because kya hai, matlab, they are too much into just scrolling, like one slip and they are getting another reel, and that too fascinating with all what they want, hai na? And when LinkedIn comes in, if you get a taste of LinkedIn, you cannot switch to any other profile. See, I was on LinkedIn in 2011 for some official purpose only, and there was a huge gap. But from last 2 years, I open LinkedIn more than my other social media platforms, because I really know the importance, how it is going to benefit me, how it is going to this is a kind of food, the official, the formal food which we should be having. So iska taste जो है वो हमें first semester से ही देना चाहिए to every student. And this is how we change the mentality of students regarding LinkedIn and other social media platforms. I hope it will help.
Yes, it will definitely help Laska ma'am, because you really made sense here. I guess everyone, when they were adding their points, we all made sense here. And the last thing that I want to add here is not only just religion and region, I think everything that is personalized is quite sensitive to people. From gender to color to caste to region to religion,
True,
everything is personalized. And I believe that because of this reason, you should always try to refrain yourself in disrespecting them in any way. So respect everyone is, I think, the last thing I would like to say is respect, maintain that respect of their spectrum and your spectrum. That if
Values
you are
and respect.
respectful, if you are respectful towards the other person might disrespect you in the first go, but eventually they will respect you. So that is how you should go ahead with your generation and the other generations also, maybe the younger ones or the elder ones. So let's wind up today's talk. And yeah, so for me, my last statement would be respect is the utmost thing you can do. And this is a part of soft skills. That if you want to be respected in all the terms, in all the fragile areas of your life, then I think you should react to the other person the same way. Being empathetic and being respectful, I think, is the only key to help yourself. Yes.
Well, I would like to add whenever somebody asks me, I always tell my students that if you want to talk about a person who is having all the soft skills or a person who is having really impressive soft skills, that will be a good human being. So, soft skills is nothing but a training of making you human again. Although it might seem like an ironical statement, but the thing is, we are being taught how to be human again, and that is the only thing. In order to have good soft skills, try to be, as Shikha ma'am told, be respectful towards everyone. Try to be assertive in your communication, because you cannot compromise with your self image or your self interest, basically. Of course, you need to be assertive. So, having all the soft skills, if you put together in one spectrum, you will find out that it's just about making you a good human being. That's it. As simple as that.
So, like Ankit sir truly said, and I totally agree, absolutely agree with what you also said. Respect is something, since the day it's been 7 years, or I never refer to any of my students as tum or tu. They are always up for me. So I believe that respect, first thing, respect and values, it goes forever. The student will always remember that how you treated them. It's not about just again expecting the respect from them, but it's also about giving respect to the students as well, understanding that the mindset of this generation is absolutely different from how we were taught and raised. Second thing is, no matter how much we have evolved in this modern era, we should never forget our traditional roots, the values we were taught, and the values to which we gained an understanding of why posting something negative on LinkedIn can bring an impact. So the same thing needs to be taught to the students, which I believe that is very, very important. The teach them the good context, teach them the right values, and eventually, like Alaska ma'am said, that asking them to write posts on wisdom or anything of their choice will actually enable them to become a good human being. One day, when they will scroll their LinkedIn and when they will scroll their past posts, they will come across that, okay, fine, there were some good things that I posted, and trust me, from there their brain will start working in that positive direction. So as trainers, we can bring positivity, because I also became a soft skill trainer. I thought that I'm a very optimistic person, and that is one of my key strengths which I always wanted to give to my students. I never give up in my life, and that is why I thought that I prepared the students to never give up in their lives. That is what I think that we all as human beings, as trainers, should practice. And I totally agree with what Ankit sir, Alaska ma'am, Anjali ma'am, and Shikha ma'am has said today. And thank you, ma'am. It has been a wonderful conversation. And trust me, I've jotted down certain pointers which I'm definitely going to teach to the students also. So this has been a really wonderful conversation. This is all from my side.
So yeah, my closing statement is, see, for the student who is listening to this, they'll get to know a lot of things. They'll build a new perspective as well by listening to this video. But one thing which I am expecting and I want students to do is, don't set short-term goals. Like, don't set, I want to build soft skill just to crack an interview, right? I'll build my communication so that I get a job of 10 LPA, right? So you will be clueless what to do next. So instead, if you build a vision for yourself, right? Okay, I want to do this, then it's easier. You can plan out things that, okay, I'll crack this interview, then to promote or to get a promotion, I'll do this or something like that. So if you set a vision for yourself, it would be helpful for you in long term. And yes, setting vision is not one day game. You can take help of your trainers, or your mentors would be there. Even your friends who know you better, they can also help you in building the vision, because they'll know your strengths, right, and your weaknesses. So yeah, my key takeaway is, don't set short term goals, because once you enter the industry, you won't get time to actually prepare yourself or learn things, or let's say build your vision at that time. So if you already have a roadmap before, you just have to work on it. Yeah, that's it. And thank you for your time, guys. And it was really nice conversation. Looking forward to many more.
So thank you, Ms. Shikha, for organizing this, and thank you, Ms. Tanushri, Ms. Anjali, Mr. Ankit, for joining in and contributing to the fullest of your capacity. Through this session, what I learned is that what I really want to teach my students and to everyone, the takeaways: firstly, be authentic, be real, be genuine. Don't imitate anyone. See, God has made everyone different. The same, the siblings are also not same, so don't try to copy anyone. And additionally, like it's a next part of being authentic is be simple as well. Don't try to complex the things. We are in habit of finding toughest thing. Even while to say a simple statement, we will find the best words, the most difficult words to pronounce, for which we will sit for 2 hours to learn the pronunciation. Don't get into that. People are not going to see how you are going to speak, but people are going to see your intensity, your expressions, and your genuineness, whatever you are speaking and whatever you are doing. The next thing is a message to all the students, as this will be a recorded session for the students as well. What I believe is that this generation, the next generation, needs to learn to not to discuss people. Might be it is there in the trend that whenever we sit, we are supposed to discuss the people, and for discussing it for 2 hours or even more than that, we end up while saying chhod hame kya, right? So if for 2 hours you have to discuss that, and by the end you have to say chhod, so why can't we chhod it in the initial go? So stop sitting in the circle where people are discussing people. Sit where people discuss ideas, innovations, failures. People are afraid to discuss failures. Trust me, what a failure can teach you will never be taught by any of the people, any of the person who is successing in everything. Because from the person who has failed will tell you how to do it and what not to be done. The person who's successful will only tell you one thing, how to do it. But the person who has failed multiple times or even once, he will tell you what not to do. So I believe sit with the people who discuss ideas, a lot of other things, not the people. People are not to be discussed. people are to be lived, to be enjoyed, to be seen, not to be discussed. That's my take with this conversation.
Okay, so once again, thank you so much, everyone, for taking out your time on Sunday. I understand it was not easy, and you are just doing it for helping the kids who are out there waiting for their interviews, maybe planning for it, maybe getting stressed about it. So, yes, the key takeaways is what I want to highlight. So, we talked about master at least one skill, that is important. And competence and confidence theory, we discussed it, and Ankit sir talked about it. Then coachability and trainability, which Anjali ma'am talked about. Authenticity, that was a very important aspect highlighted by Alaska ma'am. And the importance of mental conditioning, which is highlighted by Tanushree ma'am. It was really a wonderful addition to their mindset, I guess. And this is really going to be a very helpful session if people look at it. And in the next session, if people really want it, I'm offering it. We can go ahead with a self introduction session where at least I am going to be there as per the availability. And I will talk about, so we have Alaska ma'am also. So we will talk about how to introduce yourself to that question. Tanushree ma'am will be there. Oh my God. Okay. So you
I
are
will
going
also
to
be
learn.
there. Apologies, I cannot open up my camera just yet.
I know. It's okay. So we all will be again there and we'll try to
Yes.
help you in your introduction, but not by telling you what to say, by telling you how to talk about a person. You have to fix out the context because we learned today from Anjali ma'am that context is their job. It's not my job, right? So we will help
Yes.
you. And with this, we're closing it for today. Thank you so much, everyone. And I wish you want to see more such sessions. If you want it, please write the topic in the comment section. We'll try to come back to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
guys.